Getting down there with the sewing, I've made sure to overstuff it a little bit, and I'll be moving that stuffing around as time goes. I'm almost done with sewing now. Got about a ½ inch left. I would have sewn up any holes that were exposed, but this one only had one hole in the back of the skull, and that gets filled by the clay a little bit. In my case, once again, Play-Doh, not ideal. Almost there. Probably have 2 more stitches to make. And at the end, and I do really like to use a thimble. In my last stitch, I kind of loop under itself and create a knot. Which hopefully this is close to the last one. You can use a tool if you're having a hard time sewing. You can use some other stuff like a little hemostat or pliers to grab and hold. But I like to loop it under itself to tie my last knot. And then I actually go back under itself again and tie another knot. I gotta make sure that the first knot is tight, that the other knot doesn't sit up too high. That feels pretty good. Then I can cut off my excess string. I can take my squirrel and dust it off. This one needs to be blow dried. This is a fine time to stop. Again, put it in the freezer, lay it flat. You can just bend the tail up, or you can keep going. If I'm keeping going, I got to figure out what I want my squirrel to look like, what kind of shape I'm going to give it, what I want it to do. How do you get these legs to do anything? They're all floppy. So what you do, once again, you take and cut yourself another length of wire, 2 of them. So I'll cut those. You want to make sure that you cut those at an angle. What that does is it gives you a sharp surface. So I'll show you what that looks like. Cut that at a little angle there. Give you a little point. And that point is going to allow you to stab it, poke it through the foot pad. So I start on one back foot and I just twist on that foot pad. I make sure that I'm not in position to get stabbed by my own wire. It's funny, I've had students do this for years, just a learning project, and I have not had, up until this year, I have not had a kid cut themselves with a scalpel taking apart the squirrel. Like that's a rare, most kids don't cut themselves. However, I've had a lot of kids stab themselves with a sewing needle because they don't have any clue how to sew. And I've had some kids stab themselves with a wire, which is unpleasant. And when I say some, I mean, we're talking very few over the years, but it does happen. So I make sure my hand is safe. You can see where the wire is going to emerge there. If I can get it to go there. All right. Now, what that allows us is the ability to shape. So I can give it shape with those wires. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the front. Find my sharp side. There we go. Just twist. Throw them into the pad. Let's see. On the front side, the top front legs, I'm going to actually tuck this wire behind the wire that runs this way. And the back legs, because I want them to push up, I have the wire tucked in front or on top of the wire that runs this way. I think anyways, that was my plan. So then get this out the pad. There we go. And I can give it some shape. And it is good to keep a clean desk and surface. This is not very clean. I'll be brushing this out and blow drying it later, and it'll be fine. So back legs, what kind of look am I going for? I'm going for a squirrel sitting and holding a canoe paddle. So it's going to be like canoeing is the idea. So I want it to be sitting on its haunches. There we go. So I want to take and I got to mimic that first joint. The first joint is the knee. We know that the leg, actually, the hip is back here, and the femur comes forward out of the hip and forms the knee up here. So I want to be able to create that knee just like that, and that should sit forward. Then we know that the leg comes back, right? And the hock is what forms the forward motion on the rest of the leg. So I bend it at the hock. And now I've got a knee joint that, when brushed out, should look pretty decent. That makes sense, right? And I like to put my wires then down, because what I'll do is to get them to stay shaped, I'll push that through cardboard. So then I do the other leg same way. So I want to find where that knee, where that hip would be, where that knee would be, go forward, back, and then bend forward with the hock. Again, if you have clay in the legs, it's going to be easier to shape. It's going to be a little bit better. I want to make sure that this lines up widthwise, and that it looks correct. One leg is generally in front of the other, unless they're sitting up. So I've got the knees. Just a moment. I've got the knees. I've got the wires through. Got that set. And then shoulders, same deal. Give them the right width of shoulder. You don't want to give them massive, super broad shoulders. You don't want to make it too narrow or skinny. Then we know that shoulders, our shoulder, this here, our shoulder generally comes back. If we're squirrels, our shoulder's going to be like this, right? We're going to be doing our things like this. Now, I want one to be extended a little bit and the other to be back so that it can canoe. So depending on which side this one is, I think I'm going to do this one forward more and extended. I want the wrist to go up. Elbow, hold on. Got to make sure I got the right shape here. So shoulder back a little bit. Got to give it some width. All right. And one arm's going to come forward and grab that canoe paddle, and the other arm's going to be tucked back a little bit. You'll notice this neck looks way too long. It's not quite set right. So I need to give this head some shape, get the neck some shape. I need to reshape the head, the skull. I'll put the tail up. It'll do its thing, whatever that looks like. It doesn't look good now, but again, it takes a little time. So I'm going to pin these ears up. I'm going to pin the eyes down into place. I have to put the eyeballs in, which I believe I brought with me, fingers crossed, brought back from school. Yeah, here we go. This is the 10 millimeter solid black plastic Animal and Craft. 50 pairs of them for like 10 bucks. Whereas you can spend 10 bucks on one pair of eyes through a supply place. Now, the eyes you get at a supply place are glass, and you pay for quality and value. And this is definitely just a okay product, but it's okay enough for at-home taxidermy with Mr. K. So I'm going to put those eyeballs in, and then I have to look at the head and really line the eyes up, give the right shape, get the ears lined up, make sure that the eyes are not too high, tall, not too forward, not too back. You might not be able to see that as well as I can. I gotta adjust them so they are even with the nose, upright. I will pin those ears. This one did get shot through the forehead, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to wait till that Play-Doh dries, which might take a while. And I'm gonna paint that brown there, that little blue spot of Play-Doh. You'll notice that one thing I did, and here we go, you can use a needle. I like to use dressmaker's pins. They're super easy to pin things in place. But I want to use a needle to really touch that eyelid, both top and bottom, and get it over top of the eye. That is what will give you some realism here. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right. And some of this Play-Doh's moving around a little bit on me. I can take that, and in the future, I can get that Play-Doh off. After it dries, I'll just scrape it away and fill that with a little paint, a little dark paint. So this is really the art side of it. I am not super creative or artistic or any of those fun things, but I'll give it a shot and I'll always give it my best. All right, so I'll pin these ears in place. I'll adjust the neck to fit the shape that I want. This one's going to be looking ahead, looking at doing some work. So next thing you're going to see is, hopefully you'll see the eyes and face and stuff doesn't look good right now in your camera. Hopefully as it dries, once I get it mounted into some cardboard, it should work. So what I'll have some fun. I'll stick some cardboard up here to get the arms shaped exactly how I want, and they'll dry that way, which is kind of nice. Same with the back legs. I'll stick some cardboard in and get that shaped exactly how I want. It's actually, the squirrel's a lot closer than I thought it would be in a fairly short period of time. I just got to do some of those modifications. So I hope that you enjoyed part 2. Part 3 will be kind of the touch up. I might try to include my putting it into the cardboard to harden, and maybe the building of the canoe. I don't even know. We will see. So thank you for watching part 2. Enjoy. Remember, have fun. Do things that are smart. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the outdoors. And thank you for watching.